Well, guys, the day has come. The day that I finally stray from the classic typical dinosaur a little bit and review something totally different for you guys, and it is one of these brand new Godzilla King of the Monsters sets that does seem to feature Godzilla and the newer Rodan. Something I was very excited for. I love Godzilla, even though I don't talk about him too often on here previously because I was just kind of trying to keep this dinosaurs, even though Godzilla himself is a dinosaur. But most giant monsters like this do kind of count as dinosaurs, and I feel like a lot of people do want to see these on the channel, so I have decided to start looking at Godzilla and things like this, giant monsters in general, not just specifically prehistoric creatures like dinosaurs and prehistoric mammals and all that fun stuff. So we are going to take a look at these Godzilla figures as I can find them. I've had kind of a tough time trying to locate them lately, although they are pretty much brand new. They did just recently come out. They were a little hard to find in my area, and I stumbled across a few sets the other day, so I got them right away, and here they are to look at. Again, this is the Godzilla King of the Monsters Godzilla vs. Rodan set. The box itself is really cool. Of course, you've got all this information down here of Godzilla, a beautiful image of Godzilla and Rodan up there, and a very cool image that goes behind them, I guess, if you would like to display them. It says that you can create your own scene, which I imagine is what that's for. Very cool looking box. I absolutely love this box. I think they've done a great job as far as the appearance of this. And then on the side, we've got an image here of the other sets, the King Ghidorah and Godzilla set, and then Godzilla and Mothra. So let's go ahead, get this sucker out of the box, and see how nice these much anticipated figures are. So first of all, here is the image in the background of the box that you get to create your own scene, as they say. And it is an image of a volcano erupting. I'm pretty sure this is where Rodan comes from in the film, but I haven't actually seen it yet as it doesn't come out until next month, so we will find out then. And then here is Rodan himself and Godzilla. So right away, these look awesome, and honestly much better than the 2014 figures that we got. I mean, they're very similar, but I actually like them quite a bit better than those previous releases. So let's go ahead, get a closer look at both of these figures. So starting up here at the head sculpt of Godzilla himself, you can definitely take note to all the beautiful detail that you would expect to come with a Godzilla figure. I will say the teeth themselves, although they are painted, are definitely kind of sloppily painted. They're not perfect, that's for sure. You can see that the white is kind of all over the place on the inside of the mouth. There is no paint or anything as far as the tongue goes, just the teeth, and the eyes have a bluish coloration, and there actually appears to be a little inconsistency as far as the eyes themselves, as this eye seems to be not exactly in the correct spot. It's a little too far forward, but this eye looks like it's okay over here. So, kind of like some Mattel problems we have going on there with the actual eyes of the figure. As we start to run down the back, we can see those trademark Godzilla spines sticking out, and they are that bluish color, which I would assume is supposed to imply that he's about to shoot out some atomic Godzilla breath. I'm pretty sure that's the idea behind this, and I really quite like that. I think that's a very cool touch, not making this figure ordinary or regular, just an ordinary Godzilla figure. So it's very cool to have that type of a touch, and I'm definitely a much bigger fan of the sculpt of Godzilla in general this year as opposed to the 2014 version, as they have gone to a much more classic look as far as the Godzilla spines go, and the overall detail on the figure of them is really nice. Jakks Pacific has done a great job as far as actually sculpting out this Godzilla. Then as you run down into the stomach, you can see that they've actually done a very cool dry brushing to really bring out the detail of the actual sculpt here in the underside of Godzilla. So that is a very cool touch as well. The arms look very nicely sculpted. And for the most part, Godzilla is pretty much all just this one solid color. There isn't too much going on as far as the paint, because that's just the way Godzilla is. As you move down into the side, the scaling and everything really looks beautiful. All the very nice, very rough looking scales are really beautifully portrayed here in this figure. Very nice musculature as you come down, huge calf muscles. The feet themselves look very nice as well. Beautifully done. There is no sort of different coloration as far as paint goes for the claws or anything, but they look very good. I don't think you really see any kind of different coloration on Godzilla regardless, so that's exactly how it should look. And then you can see the tail and the absolutely beautiful sculpt work of the tail as you run the entire length out to that very long Godzilla tail, and the beautiful spines up here on the back and everything just look fantastic. So this is a really beautiful interpretation of the brand new 2019 Godzilla. I absolutely love this small figure. Now, as far as Rodan goes, if we get a nice close shot here of the head and focus, there we go. You can see that the paint applied is really nicely done, and the overall sculpting of Rodan's head also looks very, very good. This is really giving me a great shot of what the actual new Rodan looks like, as most of the trailers that I've seen, I haven't really gotten too good of a shot of him. So it's very cool to really get an idea of what the newer Rodan looks like. The eyes are painted, and they appear to be just a yellowish coloration. I actually don't even see a pupil or anything, but I didn't see that on Godzilla either. And it appears to have just a very dark wash with a reddish coloration all over that is primarily the color. And it does look really good on the head and everything. It really helps to bring out that detail and show you how nice the sculpt is of this figure overall. Coming down here into the stomach and the chest, look how very nicely sculpted this is. Really beautifully done, and that incredible wash really helps to bring out the details so much more. Had they not used that, the legs appear to be sculpted very nicely, and feet as well. There's no claw paint or anything down here either, similar to Godzilla. The actual detail on the insides of the wings looks fantastic as well. Really quite incredible, except right here I have like a random area that appears to have like some extra red, and I'm not really sure what happened there, so maybe some extra paint dried on. I'll have to try to scrape that off. But other than that, this really looks beautiful. The sculpt work is incredible on the inside here of the wings. Here are the hands. The hands look very good as well. Let's take a look at the upper side. Really, really nice. Wow. The sculpt work, as far as the actual skin detail of Rodan himself, is just staggeringly beautiful. And that wash really helps to make all that attention pop out at you and just looks so absolutely insanely beautiful. Again, here's another area with that random splotchy paint though. I just don't understand why that is showing up on here. I have no idea. I'll have to try to scrape that off again. But regardless, the overall appearance of this figure just looks beautiful, and this is a super cool version of Rodan done here by Jakks. As far as articulation goes, the legs themselves are articulated, and each leg itself is actually articulated on its own, which is very cool. They don't move together, so that's very nice as far as that goes. Articulation in the neck, which is on a swivel, so it can move all over the place from left to right. It doesn't go up or down, just left or right. And then of course we've got articulation in the wings. Right here we've got a little joint in here, so you can flap the wings. And that's the only part. You can't flap it here, like next to the body, only right here, which is pretty cool. And in general is very nice articulation for the Rodan. Godzilla has all the typical articulation you would expect. He's got his head can turn, so he's got the swivel, the arms move up and down, legs move up and down, they don't move out away from the body or anything, and the tail can also swivel. The tail can also actually disconnect, as you can see there, and then you can put it back on. So some very nice articulation in both figures. As far as a size goes, we'll measure Godzilla first because we know he's the star of the show. So from the tail to the head, you're looking at about 7 inches or about 18 centimeters. And for a height, about just a little over 3¼ inches or about 8½ centimeters. For Rodan, as far as a wingspan goes, and I'm knocking everything over now, you're looking at about just a little over 7¼ inches or just under, almost 7½ inches or almost 9 centimeters in a length as far as the wingspan goes. And for a height, Rodan is really quite small, so you're looking at about 1 3/4 inches or about 4.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is our buddy the Papo Green Rex next to these new Godzilla King of the Monsters figures, and you can see that they are quite a bit smaller than the Papo Rex, but they are just really beautifully sculpted. There is just a ton of incredible sculpt and something that is as small as these, and I think they are very nice compact sized Godzilla figures, and our Papo Rex buddy here is giving you a good idea of that. So these two get the pleasure of being the first as far as these Godzilla figures, or any Godzilla figures go really, to show up on my channel. So Godzilla King of the Monsters is a heck of a landmark as far as I'm concerned for my reviews, but these figures themselves are really beautifully done. I think the overall sculpting is honestly spot on to what I see on Godzilla on the new film. All the very small, minute details that you would expect to be there are definitely all very present, and overall the sculpt looks fantastic. Rodan also looks really beautiful and sports some absolutely jaw-dropping sculpt work as far as the small minute details go and everything, like the skin texture of the wings and all that, and also has a beautiful wash and really nicely done red paint all over it. They do both have a few downsides as far as sloppiness goes, like Godzilla's eye not being exactly in the correct spot, and Rodan kind of having some splotchy red paint here and there. I'm not really sure why, but at the same time, they make up for those small little issues with being just absolutely beautiful looking Godzilla figures. I also do love the fact that Godzilla has that nice lighter coloration dry brushed onto the underside and the stomach area to help make all the detail pop, because that's something that you haven't really seen previously on too many Godzilla figures. So that was a very nice touch on the part of Jakks. It is cool to have this little card here in the background, but it's so small I don't really think that it does too much as far as playability or adding to the scene. It is still kind of cool to have, just it's kind of not really a big deal to me. The two figures themselves though are absolutely awesome. So if you do want to buy them, head to your local Walmart and see if you can snag these guys today. They are just starting to show up, so they should be more plentiful very soon. They will run you about $10, like $9.84 or some random Walmart price. But I think they are definitely, without question, worth the price. Two beautiful figures. So head to your local Walmart, pick them up today, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.